Okay, today we are talking about creating open-ended questions. This is a review from first quarter, so some of this should be familiar. Right now in the Pear Deck, you need to answer, how do you use Google effectively when doing research? Next, you just need to start thinking about things a person should research about revenge. So when you think about revenge, what does revenge affect? What kinds of things might affect a person's decision to take revenge? List at least 3. Next, you're going to do the same for forgiveness. And they should be 3 different ideas than you wrote down about revenge. Okay, today's objective is I can generate a list of open-ended questions about revenge and forgiveness to guide my research. Remember, this is the most important step of research, because if you do not have a good list of questions, you're not going to be able to do any research. This lesson is really important and it's the foundation of your research. So do it well and make sure you ask questions if you don't understand. In order to accomplish the objective, you are going to look at the differences between closed and open-ended questions. You're going to generate a list of 10 or more topics to research, and that's not questions, that's just topics. Then you will turn your list of topics into 10 or more open-ended questions to research. So, number 1, open-ended versus closed-ended questions. Dig in your brain for what we did last quarter. What are open-ended questions? What are closed-ended questions? Answer both of those in the Pear Deck now, please. Open versus closed-ended questions. Open-ended are broad. They can be answered in detail. You're going to get a lot of information about the topic when you have an open-ended question. Several sentences. A closed-ended question is narrow. It's able to be answered in one word or in a short list of choices. It is a yes or no answer. It is maybe a number. It is maybe a list of 3 things, but it is not good for research. So an example of a closed-ended question is, did you have a good weekend? If someone asks you that question, you're going to say yes or no. You're not going to really give them much more information than that. But if we were to ask, what did you do this weekend? You should be getting a lot more information from that person. Where did they go? What did they eat? Who did they hang out with? Maybe they played games, watched movies. Maybe they slept a lot. But there should be several things they share. Is this question open or closed? Would you recommend the game Among Us? What about this question? Would you recommend the game Among Us? Why or why not? Is this open or closed? What do you like about your favorite game? What about this one? Do you like to read? Is this open or closed? What is it about reading you like or dislike? All right, so we've looked at the difference between closed and open-ended questions. Now we're going to generate a list of 10 or more things to research. This is not questions. Making a list of ideas. So what is one question anyone should ask if they are researching how revenge affects the community? So when you think about when people take revenge, how might it affect the community? One question. You should have capital letters, and you should have a question mark at the end of your question. All right, what is one question anyone should ask if they're researching how forgiveness affects the community? Again, capital letters, question marks at the end. It is now time to generate ideas. You have an assignment in Canvas. You need to generate a list of topics or ideas about revenge. Do as many as you can think of, and no questions should be generated at this time. So if you open your assignment, it should look like this right here. We are day 1, all about revenge. You are doing number 1 right here. As many topics or ideas about revenge that you can think of, at least 5. And as I think about revenge, I think about things that might affect people's decision to take revenge on someone. Maybe it's education, it could be relationships, it might be maybe their neighborhood. Who knows? But those are some examples of topics or ideas about revenge that I came up with. You need to come up with your own at this time. We're not writing questions, just a list of topics or ideas. All right, now you are going to move down to the forgiveness part. So if you scroll down to the next page, this is all about forgiveness. You're going to write down topics or ideas about forgiveness, at least 5 of them. So when I think about forgiveness and I think about things that might affect people's choices to forgive, I think about their culture, maybe their religious beliefs, maybe their morals and values. A lot of these things can affect whether a person decides to forgive or not. So you need to make sure you have at least 5. If you don't have enough, you're not going to be able to generate as many questions as you need. Here are some examples from our education, work ethic, and morals and values unit. We came up with mental health, addiction, crime, family values, religion, homelessness, culture. Again, none of these are questions. It is just a list of ideas or topics. Okay, now that you have your list of at least 5 ideas or topics about revenge and forgiveness, you should have created both lists in your assignment. It is time to turn the list into 10 or more open-ended questions about research. Here is how we want to do that. So if our idea or our topic was high school, and we need to create a research question that gathers a lot of information. Remember, we were talking about success and how education affects success. So if our topic is high school, we want to create a question that tells us how completing high school can affect someone's success. So our question can look like this: how does graduating high school increase the likelihood of being successful in life? We can assume that graduating high school isn't going to decrease the likelihood of being successful. So that is how we came up with the word increase. So how does graduating high school increase the likelihood of being successful in life? Another example would be family beliefs. When we talk about success and we talk about morals and values, I think we would all agree if someone has graduated college, that is successful. There are other ways of being successful, but this question focuses on college graduates. So if we want to figure out these people have become successful in life, maybe what morals and values do they have, or what beliefs do they have as a successful person, and how did they get those beliefs? We have the question, what beliefs do many college graduates say they learned at home? So this person is successful, and so we want to know, what did their family teach them? What beliefs do they have because of their family now that they are successful in life? All right. If we talk about working in high school, if we're talking about work ethic, we want to know, does working in high school increase the likelihood of being successful in regard to your work ethic? So the question could be this: how does having a job in high school prepare someone to work hard after graduation? We know that if you have a job in high school, you have a good work ethic already. So how does that prepare someone to have a good work ethic after graduation? You need to complete day 1 on your assignment. So you're going to look at the ideas for both sides and turn them into questions. Remember, the questions need to be open-ended. They might start with what, why, how, explain, or describe. So going back to the assignment, we're going to go back up to the revenge part. Let's just look at the education in my list of topics and ideas. So how do we create an open-ended question about revenge based on the word education or the idea of education? So when I think about this and how to create this question, I want to go back to what was I thinking about when I wrote down education? What do I think education might have to do with revenge? So do I think someone with a lot of education would be more likely to take revenge? Do I think someone with less education might be more likely to take revenge? I don't really know the answer to it because I haven't researched it yet, but I can write something like, how does the level of someone's education affect their likelihood to seek revenge? Could be something like that. So think about why you chose the topic you did or the idea you did and what it might have to do with revenge. Relationships. So um, maybe how does the number of negative or toxic relationships in someone's life increase the likelihood that they are going to be a vengeful person? That could be one about relationships. Let's look at forgiveness. Culture. What can I ask about culture? Maybe what cultures have um, a strong belief that forgiveness is the better choice? Could be something like that. Or it could be, um, are there specific cultures that offer forgiveness more often than others, and what are they? That is how you take your list of ideas and you turn them into open-ended research questions. Remember, you need at least 5 good open-ended research questions. When you finish this work, you are done for today. Make sure you do the exit ticket in the Pear Deck, and then you are finished.